Just heard the guy in the White House call you a cutie pie for asking about ventilator shortages. You call that the strangest moment you've ever experienced at a presidential news conference. What is going on at these daily briefings? Why is he still doing them? If he's just going to call people names. I mean, and you are a cutie pie, let's be clear, but that's not for him to say.
I second that, Whoopi.
Thank you. What's happening?
This was just so strange because it was really the central question. We heard, New York saying they were going to need 30 to 40,000 ventilators, and the federal government only able to produce a few thousand. This is a fundamental question, and I honestly, I sometimes feel like I can predict what Donald Trump, anticipate what he's going to do before he does it, because I've been covering him for so long. That one took me by surprise. But I've got to tell you, what we go in there, we try to get the information, correct misstatements in real time, talk to the experts who are also at those briefings. But the taunting is not new. That is something that he has done from the very beginning. And he does it, sometimes he'll be taunting and insulting and demeaning you, fellow reporters. And then the next minute he's saying, actually, I think the press is doing a good job on this. And then he'll talk about how great his ratings are. He was marveling at the New York Times reporting that, that the press conferences are getting more ratings than the season finale of The Bachelor. But there was an incident I describe in the book, Whoopi, where I was at a rally, about 10,000 people in Fort Myers, Florida, and the president led this crowd to taunt me and my fellow reporters who were in the middle of penned in the middle of the floor of this arena in Fort Myers, taunting insults at us. And what was amazing about that moment, which, by the way, is not all that unusual, was what happened right before it. I had interviewed him backstage, a short interview before the rally. After the interview was over and before the rally started, he brought me to meet the people that were with him. And he said, "Meet the great Jonathan Karl." And he couldn't have been more complimentary and everything. And he asked me 3 times, "Are you going to go out and watch my speech? It's going to be a really good one. Are you going to be there? Are you going to watch?" And, of course I was. It's my job to cover it. I go out, and it was within 3 minutes of him stepping on stage that he was leading that crowd into taunting and insulting me and my fellow reporters.
Hey, Jonathan, it's Joy. Don't you think it's time for the 25th Amendment to be put out there? I mean, he's crazy. Let's face it. The guy's nuts.
Well, I'll leave it to others to decide about that, but I'll tell you, Joy, another
I'm
amazing
deciding
thing.
right now.
Okay, well, there you go. One thing I found in doing the research to go back, to write this book, is that Mick Mulvaney, when he became the acting chief of staff at the White House, actually recommended a book. He went on a retreat to Camp David with the senior staff in the West Wing, and he recommended a book called A First-Rate Madness, which is a book that puts forth the theory that the best leaders in history have been mentally ill. It was an amazing revelation, because you have people like you who think Donald Trump is crazy. You have people his supporters who think he is a genius.
Fine, I said this morning that he has a narcissistic disorder, which is a form of mental illness, and it's incurable. Okay, there you go.
Well, there you go.
And now you're telling me that he's bipolar.
Well, I can't help you with the diagnosis, but I can tell you that his chief of staff was suggesting to senior staff at the White House that mental illness actually makes for good leaders.
Well, Jonathan, this is Sunny. Not only has the president, I guess, attacked the media. Yesterday, Senator Rubio tweeted that some in our media can't contain their glee and delight in reporting that the U.S. has more coronavirus cases than China. How do you respond to that tweet coming from a U.S. senator?
It is, Sonny, it is outrageous. It is wrong. It is hurtful. I called out Senator Rubio, and I'll do it again now, to say, who are you talking about, Senator? And more importantly, to tell him, Senator Rubio, apologize for that. That tweet hit just after our friends at CBS News learned that one of their colleagues, one of their coworkers, died from coronavirus. A colleague at NBC died at coronavirus. We have at least 2 members of the White House press corps who are now suspected to have coronavirus. Who does Marco Rubio think is taking joy and glee at more people being sick? That's an outrageous statement. It's a hurtful statement. It's the kind of thing that I wrote the book about the idea of people putting out misinformation intended to further divide us. We've got to put a pause on that kind of talk now, especially from somebody like Marco Rubio, somebody who I've also known for a long time, and I know knows better than to say something like that.
And I would suggest, Jonathan, that came from the top. That leadership comes from the top.
We're going to come back with